So we're a few days away of going to St. John's, kick off the first event of the 2022 season. In a few minutes, I'm going to give you, we're going to kind of go through, I'm going to get on the map, show you kind of what my game plan is for practice anyway. Florida is one of the states that I've never contended for a win. I've had some good finishes, I've had some terrible finishes. You know, last year at the St. John's, I had a great practice. I thought it was for sure top 10, top 15, and it didn't happen. A lot of my fish, I think, spawned and left. And going to these lakes again, you know, you don't want to do the same thing, and it never happens the same way twice. So really, I'm just going to kind of watch the weather and dictate it the first day of practice. They've been cold down there. We've been cold really as a country the last few weeks. So what I'm hoping is that these fish are grouped up. They're not even thinking about spawning. And when we get there during practice, things start warming up. And during the tournament, it just catches fire and it goes crazy. And we see one of those, you know, 95, 100, 105 pounds to win. So for you guys that don't know, St. John's, even on the map, since it looks small, it's a giant. There's so many miles to fish. You know, we take off up here, you know, about in this area here, can run north, you know, all the way to Jacksonville. And actually there was an event one up there. I'm always scared to fish that way because of where does the freshwater stop and where does the saltwater start. I typically fish on this lower end. I've had a good finish, a top 10 finish in Crescent Lake, which is over here on this side, fishing shallow. Typically, tournaments down there, it goes down in Lake George, which is this big area here. And the reason it goes down is because there's grass all the way around the edge, eel grass. Last year when we were there, no grass. You know, Hackney still had a really good finish fishing the bank. You know, kind of the sleeper is Rodman. That's actually where I fished. You have to go through a locking system. But I think this year, I think I want to focus on something new. You know, I fished 1 year here in Crescent. I fished 1 year in Rodman. I actually fished an event in Lake George. I think this year during practice, I'm going to spend south of Lake George and try to find something kind of off the beaten path. And I need something fresh in my mind, something that I've never fished. So practice for me actually wasn't bad. You guys probably saw some video. All 3 days we had clouds, heavy clouds, and the first day and the third day we had rain. And the only thing that bothers me, I think I found where these fish are living. Now, I'm not getting a lot of bites. If I get 8 or 9 bites tomorrow in the tournament, then I'm gonna feel lucky. But what worries me is I feel like, you know, windy, cloudy, that these fish were biting. You know, I can't catch them on spinnerbait. You know, that's why I'm probably gonna have to do a lot more flipping tomorrow than I have been. But really, it's one of those practices where it could be good and it's a little scary, where it can be not so good and it's a little scary. But you know, I found an area, a lake that I'm gonna fish. I'm not going anywhere else, so I'm just gonna go and you know, as the tournament goes on, if I can make it to Saturday and Sunday and we get more of the sun and the temperature rises, you know, I'm gonna keep checking those fish, maybe going to the bank and trying to spawn. So practice 6, 7 out of 10. I've had a lot worse. We'll just see how it rolls out in the tournament. Hey guys, gonna wrap up the St. John's. First of all, congratulations to John Cruz. You know, he's one of the good guys out here fishing. He's been doing it for a long time. Great fisherman. Hasn't won that many, but he got him a W. And you know, most of the guys that finished in the top 10 this week had a giant bag, 25, you know, 22 to 30, and then followed up with 12 or 15. You know, John had that big bag, and then he had, you know, some 17s to kind of fill it up. But you know, you guys know that before coming, I guess that we were going to get this big heat wave, and a lot of spawners were going to come up that did not happen. What happened is, you know, during practice we had the rain and the wind, and you can see from the video, practice was dumb. I mean, I could literally drive down the bank and point my finger to where I knew I was going to get a bite, and most times it would be a big one, and I didn't catch that many. You know, once I kind of established it, I cut the hook off. But that's 2 years in a row that I've been to the St. Johns, and after practice I felt like, hey, I might not win this event, but I'm going to contend for the event. And both tournaments I did not make the third day cut, and that just goes to show you sometimes, you know, you get dialed in, and I've been doing this for as long as, you know, a long time, and I still do it. I got so dialed in during practice on a bite that even when the conditions changed, yeah, I changed some. I mean, I went to the bank and flipped rather than throwing a spinnerbait, but those fish just don't set up the same way. They move. I mean, you know, windy, cloudy, you saw they set up on the laydowns, the isolated stuff, and they just, I don't know where they went, and I couldn't catch them. I tried everything from a jerkbait to, you know, a wacky rig. I mean, me throwing a wacky rig, all of that stuff, and I just couldn't catch them. And, you know, the good thing that came out of this is literally the second day, with minutes left, I had 2 fish and caught 3 and probably moved up 20 places. So that's 20 more points that I don't have to gain the rest of the year. But, you know, I feel like I've been doing this a long time, but I also feel like I'm still learning really every day. And you know, there's one thing that I want to happen before my career ends. I want to go to Florida, and I want to be on camera, and I want to be catching, you know, those ones that you watch them catch, those 25 to 30 pound stringers. There's nothing more than I want. You know, I pretty much threw 2 baits. 95% of the fishing was the Christie critter, green pumpkin, black blue. Shadow is just, you know, it looks good in the Florida water. I didn't even use that much in practice. You know, it was just good fishing weather. But you know, when the conditions changed, that's what I thought I was going to catch them on. And then, you know, a lot of the spinnerbait you guys probably saw in practice, I was throwing a black one. I switched to that color, JC Special, during the event, just because of the sunny conditions. And I didn't catch any on it until literally the last 15 minutes of the day, and when the wind picked up. So hope you learned something. We're going to get this back on track, and thanks for riding along.